Hi friends! Today on the Nailed It Draw Along, we are going to learn how to draw the Philly Phanatic. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to start with is his face, okay? So to draw his face, the first thing we're going to do is draw one eye, like that. We're not going to connect the bottom because there's going to be a little fur there. And then the other eye is kind of next to it, just like that. Then he's got like a little furry thing kind of over them. So go ahead and draw a little bit of fur. We'll come back and add a little bit more later. And then he's got nice little circle pupils right in the middle. All right. Then he's got this kind of like cool turkey looking thing above his eyes. So we're going to start here and draw one line. And then start over here and draw another one. And then what we're going to do is just kind of connect them with these circular shapes, okay? We'll come back and color them a little bit later, but for now we're just gonna do that. Then he's got this like cool triangle thing above that. So we're gonna make one like little triangle here. We're gonna make another triangle over here. And then the same thing, we're just gonna connect these by making this triangle shape above there. Then he's got a cool kind of sideways hat on. So what we're going to do is start at the rooster looking shape and draw a curved little line like that. And then we'll come up here near that shape we just drew. And this is going to be the bill of his hat. And so draw a little shape down here, like a little curved line. And then we're going to bring that up just like this. So we don't get lost, let's go ahead and put the little button that's on the top of his hat right here. And then what we're going to do is draw a shape that goes like this to be the top of his hat. And then we're just going to connect that down here. It is a Phillies hat, so we're going to add the logo. So we just do like a little circle and then a shape down like this. You can come back and make yours look a little bit better than mine. Okay. And we're going to come back in and color him later, so don't worry about his colors right now. All right, so let's come back down and start trying to fix his nose up. He's got a very, very strange nose. So what we're going to do is draw a little fur here. And then we're going to draw a line that starts kind of between his eyes and comes up. That's going to be the top of his nose. We'll draw a little shape that comes down here with a little line off to the side for the fur. Then let's come back to the top fur here. We're just going to draw a little bit of these furry pieces that come down to about between his eyes. And then right here where we had the wrinkle in the fur, you see where I'm marking? We're going to draw kind of a longer curved line that comes out to be the bottom of his nose. And then we can connect the fur under there. Okay. Next thing we want to do is draw sort of like a circular furry shape. It's going to take up about this area. Not quite that big. It'll be like in this area, okay? So we're going to start by drawing this furry circle shape, okay? This is going to be the tip of his nose. And then we're going to have a line that comes up, a line that comes down, and then a little furry shape in between. This is going to be the hole where his tongue comes out, okay? So for the tongue, we're going to draw a curved shape. And it's a little bit thinner at the nose, and then it gets thicker. And then I'm just going to erase this little, whoops, that's too big. I'm going to erase this little bit in the middle. Now we're going to color his tongue, so this is not a big deal. It'll look better later. All right, now let's finish his head. So to finish his head, we're going to come back up where the hat is, and we're going to make a line here to be the back of his head. And a couple more pieces of fur. He's really furry. And then we're going to come back over to where his nose was, and right under the nose we're going to do a really big piece of fur, and then one more that comes down, and then we're going to kind of connect these to be his neck here, okay? All right, so we have his head now. So now let's make his shirt. So to make his shirt, we're going to start here on the left side and just make a little curved line, and then another one down here, and then another one for his shirt sleeve, okay? And then let's go to the right side to make the top. So we're going to do a little line like that. Whoops, don't love that. One that comes down. And then we're going to do a big curved line that's going to be his body here. And the bottom of his shirt. We'll come back to that. Okay, so we're going to stay on the right side here and do his arm. So we're just going to do one little line here and two little furry lines here. And now for his hand, do kind of like a triangle shape. He's even got fur on his finger here. And so he's got, let's see, our Phanatic has 4 fingers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll put a little line here for the palm of his hand. All right, so we're going to come back over to where his tummy is, and we're going to draw the furry pieces of the underside of his arm. Okay, then we're going to add just like a couple little fur marks because he's extremely furry, the Phanatic is. All right, so we're going to come back over to the left side of the shirt, and I'm going to make him a little smaller, my guy here, because I didn't anticipate how large he was going to be. Okay, so now we're going to draw a little piece of fur for the top of the arm. We're going to do one small curved little arm. He's actually got some space between his body and his arm here. And we're going to do like another fuzzy shape. Again, he's real furry, this guy, to be the top of his hand. And he's got 4 fingers, and he's kind of like resting them on his hip here. So we're only seeing 3 because his thumb is on the other side. So there's all 3 of his fuzzy fingers. And then kind of like right here, we're going to just make this little line between his finger and his shirt, because there's actually some white space that you can see in the background between his arm and his hand. So now let's do the rest of the arm to connect it. So we're going to make him fuzzy again. All right. Actually, I think that could be a little bit smaller. His arm's looking a little too big. So let's actually come back, and we don't want him to look like the Hulk. I know it's Halloween, but there we go. That's a more reasonable sized arm for him. Okay, so now what we're going to do is at the tip of his finger here, we're going to make a long line that connects to the bottom of the shirt. And then he's got a couple buttons. He does have a logo on his shirt, so we're going to leave room for that. And then there's like a little line on the inside of each button here. You can go ahead and add that. Okay, so now time for the rest of his body. We're going to start at the left hand and kind of make some more fur. Let's see. And then we'll do like a little furry piece here, a line there, and then we're going to come over to the right side to do a couple pieces of fur, and then another line here. All right, so now on the right side, we're going to put some fur for his legs. So I make the line on the right so we don't get lost, and then the line on the left. And then we can just connect it with some fur. And then for the other legs fur, same thing. Let's go ahead and put a line here so we don't get lost. And then over here, and then we can just connect them with some fur. And then he's got a nice tail feather sticking out over here. So just do one kind of like oval shape, and then do another one right next to it, and then one smaller one. And they do have a line down the middle of them. And then we're going to make his shoes, and then we'll connect the shoes to the legs. So just do a kind of an oval shape here. And then he's got nice little shoelaces, so go ahead and add those. Make a line like that. We're gonna do a great big, let me make him a little smaller again. He's a big boy. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna make this sort of oval shape in the front. That's the front of the shoe. And it looks a little strange because we're looking right on it. And then do a little curved line like a hook. A curved line back, down, and then we're going to connect this here to the front of the shoe. And then we're going to do the sole. So if you do a little line down to the front, a little line down in the back so we don't get lost, and then we're just going to go ahead and connect those. And then we can add the lines for his legs. So we just do one up, one down here, and we have his leg. Got a little line over here. Whoopsie daisy. Okay. Now for the other leg, what we're going to do is actually start this time with the leg line, because this one is facing kind of outward. So do one line down, and then we're going to do a curved line up like this, and then go ahead and put a shoelace. You can make it orange if you like. They are actually orange. And then we're going to do the tongue of the shoe, which is right here, and then we'll do the line up for the leg. Let's draw one little line down here. Curved line. This is going to be the top of the shoe. And then we're going to do a line that comes around the back of the leg, down. This is the back of the shoe. And then we're going to connect that up and then do the sole. Okay. So now that we have drawn our Phanatic, we're going to come in and color him. So I'm going to do this here in a different layer. Oh, and we didn't add his add his logo yet. So let's start with that. So the Philly Phanatic wears a Phillies logo, which is red. So let's come in here and add some lines. He's got lines on his jersey. And I'm going to go ahead and do the Phillies logo first. So we got our P here. And then our H. My cursive is not so good. Maybe yours is better. And then it has stars for the I dots. So we go ahead and add those in here. And go back to my red to finish making his jersey lines. We don't want to go over our logo. So go ahead and make yours however you want. All right, so now we've got some nice stripes on his shirt. I'm just gonna erase that a little bit because it drives me nuts that it's overlapping. Okay, cool. So the next thing we want to do is color his legs. His legs are also red. So come on down here, give them a little color. You can color yours a little bit better. I'm just doing this quick so that everyone can see. All right, so we got one leg. Let's go ahead and do the other one. Gonna make my brush bigger. Do this quick. Okay. Let's see, what else is red before we switch colors? His tongue. His tongue is red, so let's come all the way up here to his tongue and color that guy in. Okay. And then, of course, his hat is going to be red. We should have probably done the logo second, so we didn't have to be careful around it, but we didn't. Oops. So let's color his hat red. We can always come back in later and touch up some of these colors if we want to. Add some more black lines to it. Now the button on the top of his hat is actually blue. So while we're up here, we're gonna get that blue out again and color in that button on the top of his hat. Again, you take your time and do your coloring better than I'm doing here. All right, let's get the blue back out again and color the button on the top of his hat blue. This fuzzy thing here is also blue. So while we're up here, let's go ahead and color that in as well. And when we're done coloring this blue, we are going to color in his tail because his tail is also blue. And then we'll be done with that color. All right, so let's go to the tail area here. Get this guy colored in. I'm gonna come back in and add that line back to the top of the tail feather there when we're done. Okay. Now the Philly Phanatic is mostly green, but he does actually have some pink on him, believe it or not. So let's come find a nice bright pink color here. And this area right on top of his eyes, I imagine that these are supposed to be eyebrows, maybe. Some very festive pink ooh la la eyebrows. We can go ahead and color this whole area above the eyes pink. This is the only part of the Phanatic that is pink. All right, now before we get into the green, let's come back down to the shoes for a moment because we do actually have some other colors in the shoes. So his shoes are orange. Go ahead and pick out your favorite color of orange. And that's actually going to be the color right here underneath the in the tongue of the shoes, and then also that is the color of the shoelaces. So I'll come back in and add some black lines after to define that a little bit more, but for now let's just color the shoelaces here, and then we're gonna add some lines here so you can see his laces right there. And then they do actually have 2 little orange lines on the side of them as a design on the shoes. So go ahead and add those. And on this one, you just see them here on the side. Okay. Now the Phanatic has actually 2 colors of green on him. He has a dark green and he has a light green. So we are going to start with the dark green. I like that one. So the colors, the parts that are dark green is this fuzzy area here by the nose. And then the actual tip of his nose is also the same dark color of green. Just because I'm drawing on the iPad is why you're seeing some of our other lines getting covered up. But if you guys had already drawn these lines with a Sharpie or something, you will not have this problem. But I will come back and touch it up to show you guys how it should all look at the end. All right, so now we're going to color this spot on the tip of his nose where his tongue is coming out. Okay, now all the rest of him, including his shoes, which we'll start with, is a much lighter green. He's like not quite Grinch green, but he's getting there. So we're going to put that color down here on the shoe, and then we're going to put it on this side here. Careful to not get it on our little orange stripes here. And then same thing on this side. So we're going to color the whole shoe this light green color, except for the front part. That's kind of the white on the top of the shoe. All right, so you guys at home, I'm just gonna show you which other parts we color in green so you don't have to watch me color, and then I'll show you the final outcome here in a little bit. So the other pieces that are gonna be green on him is this whole piece of his nose, this whole area that's his neck and head, this arm and hand, this arm and hand. Make sure we don't, like this is the edge of his arm. So we don't want to get any color on that little white space between the arm and the hand there, because that's actually space between his arm and his body, so we can see behind him. Then this whole area is going to be green, this whole area, and this whole area. All right, so I'm going to color it, and then I'll show you guys the final outcome. And thank you so much for participating today and learning how to draw the Philly Phanatic.